Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to the pre-match build-up for Manchester United versus Rangers. God knows what to expect tonight. I have, quite frankly, no idea where this game is going to go, what's going to happen, but I'm sure it's going to be eventful, as it always is with Manchester United. We have Mr. Daniel Raj alongside me. How was the nerves before this game, Dan, before we get into the starting 11?
Yeah, a bit like still nervy because after coming back from that form of a game, the form in which we are, it's always kind of a random game every time when we go in against any team. But yeah, against Rangers, I think they are also kind of a random team. On their day, they can beat any team, and on their day, they can lose to any team. So I think it's going to be a random one today.
Yeah, it'd be an hard one to bet on anyway, so those betting slips later on are going to be very interesting. Right, let's dive into the 11 then, because I think that's even more interesting. Bayern Day starts in net, which is, we'll talk about that and Onana's mistake in the last game for sure. Euro keeps his place. He's starting to start on a more regular basis now, so Mazraoui finally gets a fucking rest. Because we have De Ligt and Martinez joining Euro in the back three. We've got Ahmad, Collier, Ericsson and Dallo as your four. And then we have Garnacho, Xerxes and Bruno Fernandes as your front three. So Ahmad as a wing back today. There was reports that Ahmad and Garnacho weren't even in the travelling squad on the way there, but yeah, I don't know what happened. I don't know why that was reported, but they are in the team. So let's start from, as always, Dan, from back to front. Bayern Day, should he not have just got an opportunity straight after his performance against Arsenal, do you think?
He should. I mean, theoretically, he should because of the performance he has put in, the saves he has done. I think he should get. But after performance of Onana, I think now it's the time to, switch back to Bayindir. At least gives, a few run of games to him as well. He has proven his worth. Whenever he got the chance, he has proved that. And the saves are kind of unbelievable saves, and we cannot just neglect that. And the win that he has got us into against playing with the 10 men when we were almost lost. We almost lost that gate, and it was all over the place. Within 2 minutes of Dallo getting red card. So from there, he took us and saved the whole match. Single-handedly. I think that's pretty recommendable. So I think he should get his spots even. That's sometimes it's just kind of a. Single game cannot prove your. So you prove that you can get the starting place when you are having a player kind of a Onana who is playing like continuously all games. But hope with the mistakes Onana has done, I think after that we should move to Bayandir at least for some time, so that there should be a competition, right? So when your one goalkeeper makes mistake, then you give chance to the other one. So he's not that kind of a secondary goalkeeper, but he's kind of a primary goalkeeper if he goes to any other team or any other club, and he has played really well with Turkey. So we have seen how good of a goalkeeper he is. So he's not a secondary goalkeeper; he's kind of a primary one. So why not give him a chance when your first goalkeeper has been performing well? And the stats that has been rolling out in the social media with Onana making 10 mistakes in two seasons, and De Gea has done 17 mistakes. So that just builds up this whole fuels up this whole controversy. So that the stats are there, so why not give Bindy the chance he deserves after that great performance.
Absolutely. Tim99 saying very interesting midfield. Sam saying nice to see Collier getting a start, and T2 Diesel saying evening all. I absolutely cannot stand Rangers. If we don't smash these tonight, I give up. Yeah, will it be dominance or will it be disappointment? You never quite know with this team. And also that team, I'm like, I like some of the changes, but I'm also thinking you need to be careful with the changes because we've seen the drop off when players do come in. So that's interesting in itself as a collective. But I want to stick with individuals. Martinez comes back into the side. We haven't seen him for a bit, have we? I feel like he's just kind of, I don't know if he had a bit of a knock or an injury or whatever, but there's not really any replacements there at all, is he, Dan, in that left-sided centre-half?
Yeah, that's what we have seen, that we have struggled without him, and he has been like continuously playing for us. And he has been like always there in the team. And when even though he's not at that same level when he was in the last season, but still, he was doing his job well in that position. And we don't have the replacement. If you cannot, then you have the option of Euro. Euro has been like kind of a player who plays on the right side. Then you cannot put delete or delete to some extent. You can try to play on the, I mean, the corner side of the center back line, but then
You need
Maguire always
balance,
he
don't you? You need
yeah,
that
yeah,
left
yeah,
footer.
that's
Yeah.
yeah. So that's why we don't have much options, to be fair. So I think that's why we are more, I mean, kind of with the game times he had, the number of games he's been playing, it itself shows like how much dependent we are on that particular position as a left back, I mean left center back, on Martinez. So we don't have the options to replace, and suddenly it seemed like we had kind of a lot of center backs, and then suddenly we feel like
I
we are
know.
lacking center backs. So it's
I
like
know.
it was crazy. But yeah, it all depends on that the formation changed from back four to back. I mean, back two center backs to back three center backs. So
Mm.
that just shows. I mean, the more ask for a new center backs to come in, at least one or two. Maybe you can. It's been very, I mean, very rare of us seeing a center back coming from the youth system. Maybe I would like to see at least one
Yeah.
or two center
Well,
backs coming from the youth system.
you got Konkonki, haven't you? Coming through, who Goodwill
Yeah,
Konkonki,
yeah.
I think his name is, who's coming through. Amarin seems to be a fan of, but again, I think he's 17 years old, so you're not
Yeah,
gonna.
very young. Yeah, very young. Then you will think like whether you can put that such a young talent into this, I mean, the whole mess situation. But yeah, he can be at least somewhere around nearby that first teamer, and then get the experience for next couple of years, and maybe then at least he can get some game time in the next preseason. So that's where you can, that's the path for him. But as a, I mean, I'm not sure. It's been long. I've seen Johnny Evans also. So yeah. So but these players we cannot depend on them when it
Wow,
comes to
you
competitive games.
you just sparked a memory in my head. Johnny Evans. I completely forgot about Johnny Evans. It was weird because he was so heavily featured under Eric Ten Hag. He almost played like, like became like a regular in the side, didn't he? In that back four, when we was playing like, I remember Crystal Palace, we had Johnny Evans and Casemiro together, and you're watching it, you're like, oh goodness me, like just zero pace whatsoever.
And in
Um,
times he has been like a top player for us, top centre back for us. So
yeah,
that's where we stand. But yeah, with under Amorim and with this system, I don't think Johnny Evans can play. I mean, at least for central centre back role in at at times when we don't have any other options, then maybe Johnny Evans could be the last place to go for.
mhm.
But yeah, he's been kind disappeared from this. I mean, the whole team. So, but yeah, the options are less to centre back. So coming back to Martinez, so how much dependent we are on Martinez, and yeah, that just shows like that we need couple of, I mean, one or at least one centre back in the next summer window.
Tim99 saying, I remember Forlan scoring a perler against Rangers. Punch Pate saying 3 points, big up Real Reds talk. Rangers trying to take over Manchester, not going to happen, Homer. I love this lineup. I'm feeling dangerous. That's from Punch Paint. Moving on to midfield, Amad Diallo. Dan, I know you're a fan of him at wing back. Happy that he's starting there?
Yeah, very happy to see him start there because I'm like the stat says for itself. So whenever he has started on that wing back role, and he has been more involved in contributing, the more involved in I mean this goals and assists than when he started actually at the right wing area, because he's now he looks like he's made for that position itself, and he just contributes everywhere in the attack, in the defense, and also he sometimes go inside and plays the number 10 role. So I think he's made for that role. So personally, and I mean the reason I like him to play on that position is like that gives, because you know already the attacking capabilities of Ahmad, and then when you keep him as a wing back, you know that the attack will always come in, and it will give you another position to fill in for the attacking role. So you get kind of a two wingers on that side. So that definitely will be a positive for creating attacks. So yeah, I'm really fan of that. But if you see the whole team, I mean the midfield, maybe we'll talk about that in coming minutes. But midfield just concerns me a bit because Coiler is kind of a young talent. I know that potential is there, but then playing with Ericsson, I'm not sure whether the legs will be there or not, and Collier will be found. I mean, found in most of the doing most of the running around here and there. But then it's just a bit concerning. I mean, the technical wise, it's fine. I mean, you know the abilities of Ericsson when he has the ball, but then again, when off the ball, it's a bit concerning for me.
Yeah, I think he's definitely got an eye on the Fulham game. As soon as I saw Ugarte and Kobe out of the team, because they look leggy in the past couple of games,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
that's what he's thinking. Fulham play with a lot of legs, like
Mm.
they just have runners everywhere, like your Iwobis and Pereiras, obviously, who we know. So he's definitely got an eye on that game as well. But then it just makes you think about Bruno. Bruno just seems to like play every minute of every game of it, and I
Yeah,
always think it'd be nice to rest him, but then because there is a big drop off when we do rest him, we never can be able to do it. So I thought they would have maybe have gone with Bruno dropping into the midfield and then have Collier.
mm,
So you got some legs still in there, but you got a bit of progression. Having Ericsson there, I just feel like Collier's gonna have to like tie a rope around his stomach, tie it to Ericsson, and drag him around the pitch half the time. It's okay if you've got control, but I'm not really expecting. I think Rangers will put up a fight. I think they'll be physical. I think they'll be dogged.
yeah.
So I don't know if Ericsson, like you say, Dan, is necessarily the correct profile.
Yeah, maybe Ericsson needs at least, I mean, kind of a well experienced center defensive midfielder to cover him for his lack of, I mean, stamina or whatever you call it, as the
Yeah.
legs are not there in that midfield. That lacking of legs will be there. And with Collier, as I mentioned, like he's just fresh player, and throwing him in this position when you are coming back from, I mean, coming back from a defeat, a very hard defeat, and you don't have many options on the bench, or because you have played. I mean that Arsenal game has affected the stamina wise, the physicality of the players. At least it will take maybe a couple of weeks to come back to their original physical ability, physical strength. So it's going to be a tough game, especially when you know that Rangers are well known for scoring a lot of goals, and with that midfield where you can see that our midfield might not be that tenacious. So I think Rangers will be looking at that area and will see. I mean that area will be well exposed tonight. I think
Mm.
so. That's a place we need to maybe. What we can do is maybe a centre back can play kind of a central defensive mode. I mean, whenever we are off the ball or somewhere. I mean, to just cover that midfield, just put bodies on the midfield. That's what we need, because in that with Ten Hag and with Amorim, we can see the difference in the. I mean, the you make that midfield more populative, then that in itself will reduce the opposition's attack. So that's where we were causing with in Ten Hag. The formation we were playing, the type of players we were playing, that used to create a lot of space in the midfield, and that's the main negative. We conceded a lot of goals, and we could see that the defense line and the attack line were so apart from each other, that gives so much space in the middle for the opponent to play their own game. But today I feel like with this formation, with I mean not the formation but the players we have set in, it might create a lot of gaps in between each player. So I think that could cause a lot of trouble against us.
I agree. I think with Dallo on that left hand side as well, I feel
Yeah.
like we are limited in there because you know he's going to chop back when he gets into important areas. You know his game, and I think the sooner we get a proper left back in, I know we're in talks with Patrick Dorgu, and I'm sure
Yeah.
we've got there's others that are on the list as well. But I don't think like a kid like that's going to come in necessarily, be flying straight away. Yes, he'll probably be more balanced and he'll probably look more of a fit, but he still needs to acclimatise to Manchester United. So yeah, we're using Dallo because, quite frankly, we haven't got anyone else at the moment. Hiya KY, you're saying just locked in. Big up you both. Big up the chat. Hoping for a win tonight. Yeah, I'm hoping just for a good performance. To be honest with you, I know it's Rangers, and I know people say it's a Europa League. They've got a good record in Europa League, but United at Old Trafford, especially Dan, have been shit, haven't they?
Oh man. We have been like, I mean, we play in home as if we are playing away. Away means like away,
Mm.
apart from, I mean, long away from home. So we play like that when it comes to a home game. So I'm not sure what actually the problem is, because you cannot justify that I mean the whole situation around this home games. You cannot justify it because you know that you have been playing or training, or you have been on that grass or that ground for more time of it, and then suddenly you're not the leader of that pitch. So that in itself, just I mean, you cannot explain that. It's like a Bermuda Triangle. You cannot.
Mm-hmm.
It's very tough to understand the situation here. But it should be the other way around. When you play home game, you should feel confident. You should feel you should play with more pride. The whole fans are behind you. So I'm not sure why it is the opposite when it comes to playing at Old Trafford. And it's not like we are I mean losing 1-0 or with a difference of one goal. It's always like a humiliation. So I mean, like you could see it's also depressing to see like the fans, they are leaving the stadium before 90 minutes. So I mean, we need to bring that bar again, that to that level which used to be there, playing home games. Prior to, I mean, 10, 15 years before, home games were always like a winnable games. So no matter what the opponents were. So, but now for the last, I mean, 2 years, I mean, even it has happened even in the Oli era as well. So we were like, when we were playing, we had like, I mean, 100% record playing away games, and when it comes to home games, we were struggling. So I mean, the God knows like what's the issue with the home games. But yeah, we definitely need to prove something for the home fans. Like I mean, the frustration can be more effective. I mean, might create more damage when we lose at home than at away.
Amarin was talking about this in his press conference. He said that it was like when we're at Old Trafford, you can feel the pressure of the fans and nervousness around the stadium. And I don't know whether speaking that, obviously we all know that that's the case, but speaking more about it creates more of that kind of
Yeah.
atmosphere. I don't know. Like, for me personally, I'm kind of like, a couple of things that he's done, I'm a bit 50-50 on. I think he has been a little bit maybe too emotional, whereas he's like almost the opposite to Ten Hag at times, because Ten Hag would give you nothing. Ten Hag, there could have been, someone could have had a fight, a 20-minute fight in training, and you'd ask him about it, and he'd be like, he'd just say nothing, basically. He'd be so blunt about it.
Yeah.
Amarin, I feel, is really like, a little bit like myself. Sam mentioned this the other day. I'm quite an emotional person. I have like, where like my heart, my sleeve, I kind of speak really outward. And I feel he's the same, and that's not always the best case. Sometimes you need to temper it a little bit, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. Because as a manager, whatever you say, it's going to roll around for the whole week, and it may even cause, I mean, disturbance around the team when your manager comes out and tells all these stuffs. Though behind the doors, he can say a lot of things, but when it comes to speaking in front of media, that can have adverse effect also. It could be among the fans, can lose the confidence, and even the players could, I mean, feel awkward when they see like their own manager are, I mean, kind of, creating that, I mean, scenario where you are getting humiliated in the public. But I'm not sure. But Mourinho was very great in these things. I mean, he used to play a very kind of a mind game. So we need that kind of, I mean, the attributes in managers as well. So managers, I mean, speaking in media is kind of a weapon. I mean, kind of a weapon creating mentally and disturbance around the opponents. And just, I mean, it's all about how you handle the media. But with Amorim, it's like he's just straightforward. What is there inside comes out as it is. But when you are speaking for the club, it's like you are representing the club, how club feels. And I mean, sometimes you cannot be like speaking out truth in the media because especially with United, whenever there is a press conference, it's about more of getting the controversies out of the manager. So if you are feeding the I mean the journalist, then definitely it's going to cause more effect on their own players rather than I mean having effect anywhere else. So I think maybe Amarin should kind of just measure his words while speaking up a bit. So I think I'm not sure whether he should go for classes. I mean, but yeah, he should measure his words when he's talking, because even I was surprised when these kind of quotes came out, like manager has spoken about this like openly, and I was like, then ultimately you could see like the same question was asked with Maguire. So he was put in a situation where he has to answer that why he said that. So it's going to cause a mental disturbance, not in the heavy mental. I mean, I'm just asking the mentality of the players as well. It just breaks that chemistry between the players as well. So it will just divide. It will just become a reason for a division in the back room. So if your manager, if you instead you see in the FIFA, whenever you have an option like as a manager you are playing a player in the career mode, and you see a manager has to speak out. If you speak positive things, your players the bar becomes more greener. So that's how it used to be, because you're not called there to be speaking truth, but rather than just to maintain that the openness, just to with the measured words.
I mean, I've not seen any of the pre-match comments or interviews or anything as of yet, but I'm pretty sure someone who's going to be in the media limelight is Garnacho ahead of this game, Dan. Because obviously they've got a lot of stuff ongoing at the moment with Napoli, Chelsea bidding £59 million for him as well. What do you make of that situation? And do you think this could be potentially Garnacho's last game?
Yeah, most probably could be, because you see that Napoli, I mean, they have been very closely watching Garnacho, and then Chelsea have been very closely. And with Chelsea, you have seen that that club has been spending a lot on the wingers, regardless of the price tag, because you have seen with the previous players, Mudryk and Raheem Sterling, Raheem Sterling they bought for 60 million plus, and then Mudryk, you know, that more than 100 million. So I think they are well capable of spending a lot of money especially on the wingers and the attackers. So I think if they are quoting somewhere around 60, and if the club is really wanting to sell Garnacho, I think we can pull somewhere around 65 to 70. Just ask demand for that. But yeah, Garnacho, I think his mind has always been as soon as this winter window started, his mind has been always hovering around outside the club. And we cannot blame him as well, because he knows that he is not going to get a lot of game chances because of the setup we are playing in. Maybe he can develop to that the play style, but as a winger or as a player, he is more kind of 4-3-3 kind of a player. So where you can play as a left winger. So and with Amorim's system, he's kind of he has to adjust himself to kind of a play with the inwardly number 10 role. So I think that he has to develop in him. But I think with all the recent games we have seen, like Garnacho starting on the bench, because we have other players, like you cannot drop Bruno Fernandes, and then you have with the form Ahmad is in, you cannot drop Ahmad as well. And most of the games Ahmad starts on the right wing. So Bruno and Ahmad mostly starts the games. So then you are left with Xerxes and Højlund already competing for that striker role. So Garnacho, definitely his game time is going to reduce, but then in that case, definitely with that age, with that potential, he will definitely demand to play all the games. So one thing, I think he will get that in Chelsea. But if that is the case, then we should demand more for him.
I was reading something this morning. I think it might have been an Athletic article. Just a bit of feedback on your mic. So I'm just going to mute your mic down just whilst I think. It was an article from the Athletic on United's financial situation, and I know they didn't go past PSR situation, but they are very close to it, and they do still hold, I think it's around £320 million for transfers. So something like this deal for Garnacho would be a big green plus on the PSR records. And the way it works, I don't know the specifics, but I know a lot of you guys who are watching right now read into it as well. It's to do with the wages and how it's spread out and all these kind of things. So if we was to actually sell him, there'd be a huge gap for the next couple of years that we can actually fill and start bringing in players and stuff. And obviously, if Ruben Amorim has said to Ineos and to German, more specifically like Jason Wilcox, this guy does not fit this system. He's a very talented boy, but he just simply does not suit us. So if we can get £60-70 million, is this something we can do? They'll test the waters. Napoli are obviously hugely interested, especially Antonio Conte. And Chelsea are, but it's the Chelsea one that's strange. I know with Napoli, Kvaratskhelia has gone, so they do need a replacement there. I know they're talking to Adeyemi as well. So that makes logical sense to me. Whereas with Chelsea, it's like they've got João Felix, Nkunku, Sancho, who they've just taken from us as well, Madueke, Mudryk. They've got about 8 wingers and 8 attacking players. And what I actually read into it, Dan, what he was doing, and I want to get your thoughts on this, they are somehow, I don't know if it's a loophole in this PSR situation, but they are buying all these players basically, maybe make a bit of a £10-15 million increase on him. So if they bring Garnacho in, he develops a little bit more, they then sell him for 75 million, let's say £80 million to an Atletico Madrid or whoever. And then on the books, it looks like even though they've brought in loads of players, they made little £5-10 million here and there, and it boosts them up. So that's interesting, isn't it? But as a player, can you see why he would go there, knowing how many wingers they've already got?
Yeah, as a player, if he is really seeking for a game time, regular starter, I think Chelsea would not be that a place for him to go. But as per United, if you want more money, then Chelsea would be the better place for us. But as a player, I don't think Chelsea would be a better, because they are already struggling with players. Even Sancho is starting mostly on the bench, and then getting the minutes here and there. And then you have Medioki, and he's kind of, I think in the last game he performed really well. So I think his position is almost like on the right wing. He has settled his place. Then I think there are so many players who are struggling. I mean, who are struggling to get game time, especially the wingers. So you will, as a young player, you won't want to go in a situation where you are already having a competition of 5 players or 6 players for a starting 3 roles. So I mean, as a player, I mean, it's going to be a very tough. But somehow Chelsea are very well in selling their project. I mean, like all the top players are wanting to go there, and even though they know that they will not get much game time, and but yet they are well. I mean, they are just somehow they are consumed in that ideas of what Chelsea are throwing up on the players, on the external players. So I think that could be the case here also. But if that, and then it's a case like whether you are focused on getting game time, or you are, I mean, what magic they do on the players while selling their project, I'm not sure what they do. But yeah, as a player, I would never go to that place where there are already kind of a 4 to 5 players fighting for 2 places. So as a Garnacho, as a player personally, if I'm looking for from the player side, I would like to see him play regularly, because the potential we have seen that what he can do as a player. So I would like to, in footballing terms, I would like to see him play on a regular basis. But yeah, as you mentioned, that Chelsea, though they buy players, they are also selling players here and there, and getting money. And with Mason Mount, they have got money from us. So I think we can do some kind of an exchange. But yeah, even in the group chat, we were talking about selling Garnacho and get at least the Mason Mount's amount back. But selling Mount to United and Garnacho to Chelsea is kind of a totally different thing. Yeah, with Mason Mount, the effect he has provided, I mean, the outcome of Mason Mount is not that to that level, at least not even to 10 or 20 million pound. But with Garnacho, you are sure that he will perform at that high level in all the areas, in all the games. So that's a totally different comparison. But yeah, if we want to get a more money out of any club, though, I think Chelsea would be the destination for us.
Yeah, because they're not shy. We know what Todd Bowley's like. Like he'll just get his checkbook out and go, yeah, no problem whatsoever, mate. But I just, yeah, from a footballing perspective, I found it really, really strange and bizarre for me. But look, if he's for whatever reason happy to go there, maybe it's a wage increase, maybe it's just a fact of that he's staying in England because he's just obviously had a baby, I think, and it'll be maybe a little bit unsettling having to move over to Italy, and I don't know what the situation is and where his head's at, but he's playing tonight. I just hope his head's focused on the game and anything elsewhere, because he's a part of attacking three. We've got Xerxes starting as well, who I believe he started in the past 3 consecutive games now. So are we looking at Joshua Xerxes as he's now the starting striker for us, do you think?
Personally, I would like to see Højlund, because he's kind of a more traditional striker as compared to Xerxes. But in the recent games, I think comparing Xerxes and Højlund, I think Xerxes has performed better than Højlund in miles away. So I think the impact Xerxes has on the team, I mean, even though we play bad, but the effect he brings in, the chemistry he brings in with the other players, that is better than what Højlund does. So what we try with Højlund, just to, I mean, to come back and receive the ball, that thing Xerxes does really well, and he just involves all the other players as well in the team. But as I mentioned in the last game, I would like to see Xerxes to perform on that same level when he starts the game. We have always seen whatever the appreciation we gave him, the play, the effect he has given into the team, the positive effects, that only we have seen when he comes on as a substitute. But whenever he has started the game, I think we have never seen, that same level of performance. And the same thing I mentioned the last game, and again we couldn't see that same level of his performance when he started the game. So that's what I want to see in his gameplay. Like from the very start of the game, he should, he should play freely. I think somehow he tries to prove himself and tries to think about the next game, like he has to prove in this game, and then he has to get the opportunity the next game. But yeah, just play your own game, and you are better in that. Passing wise, he is really good, and creating spaces for other players also, he's really good. So I think just use his own abilities and just depend on his own strengths. I think he can be a regular starter for us. But personally, I would like to see Højlund because we have put in so much money on him, and
Yeah.
we have, I mean, compared him with Haaland, and then with Harry Kane. We have gone with Harry Kane, and then we got Højlund with the hope that he has very high potential. Though bits and pieces here and there, we have seen that he has good pace. He can dribble past couple of players. His shot shooting stats, shooting power is good. But then only the thing is, like, we have seen only the bits and pieces here and there. But we want to see that on more regular basis. But yeah, I think I'm not sure what problem lies there when he's on the pitch. But yeah, on a regular basis, on a future perspective, I would like to see Højlund to have a, I mean, kind of a come to his own level and be a regular starter at United.
Yeah, I agree. Hopefully we get the best out of him, but he's absolutely struggling at the moment. We are going to switch screen and we'll talk about Rangers. We'll talk about some of the managers' quotes coming in as well, and we have some more comments to kind of shift through. So, Garno doesn't have dreadlocks. Why does Mandem FC want him? I couldn't tell you. Neither does Cole Palmer, but he's one of the best players. There'll be no goal scorers left in this team soon. That's from Tim99. McMillan saying no way. Ericsson plays deep with Collier, Ericsson at 10, and Bruno plays deeper. That's a great point, McMillan. Didn't even think about that. I mean, I kind of think how badly we need a left-footed wing-back outweighs what Garnacho brings to an Amarin team. No reflection on Garner, but we've cried out for a left-back, left wing-back for 2 years. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, under Ten Hag, Dan, as well, even thinking about we had Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, and Amrabat all play at left-back. So would you say that is the priority position going forward?
Yeah, definitely. You have seen that you are just trying players here and there because at this point, if you'd like to play at least one strong wing back at one position, then that left with Mazraoui on the right wing back. I mean, the right side of the defense. And
who, by the way, sorry, who has Mazraoui's been rested for people who are asking as a precaution after picking up a knock against Brighton. That was just because you mentioned Mazraoui. It was just sorry.
Yeah. The thing I'm mentioning about is, like, if you're putting your best player on that wing back position. So defense wise, if you see, Mazraoui is the right wing back player, and he's kind of a boss of that position. But with Dalot, it comes in like, though his preferred position is right wing back, but then we have a better player than Dalot on that place. Then it left with left wing back. I'm not sure what happened to Malacia also. At least we could have tried him, and I'm not sure whether he's injured. I'm not aware of that. But yeah, with Dalot, I think he has been struggling a lot in that position, and he's not. Earlier, when he used to play on the right back role under Ten Hag, he used to be little bit good while going up the pitch, and he used to contribute in the attack, and we have seen his attacking side of it. And sometimes he also joins the midfield and take that midfield role, and like how Arnold used to do that. And but now with this system, I think he's struggling a lot. And I mean, he's struggling to cope with that position. But he has a little bit of experience of playing as a wing back role back in Syria, I think. So I'm not sure why he's struggling here, but yeah, definitely it's not preferred position for him. But yeah, with Luke Shaw and Malacia not up to their physical strength, I mean, physically well, we definitely need a player. That's why I think I'm really happy if we get Doksu here. And we need a proper player who is I mean, kind of a specialist in that position. That will in itself will change the whole dynamics of the play. So that will definitely help us to, at least, because now you know that you are playing a offset player in that position. Definitely your focus will be there. I mean, the team will look more disturbed. But if you are placing a proper specialist in that position, then definitely it just picks up the left hand side of United's formation. So that's where we are struggling. So we need a combination of that, kind of a combination of what we had Luke Shaw and Rashford back in the days when they were kind of every game they used to be a boss in that area. But we need that kind of a partnership on the left hand side.
Physical profile is a massive one for me in a lot of the areas, midfield, left wing back, right wing back, and centre back as well. We need some kind of physical duels in there, people who got a bit of pace about them, but are also really good on the ball, which is kind of like the full package. Which we've seen with Lenny Oro, to be fair. I know he struggled against Slimani for Southampton, but his overall kind of package as a player, I think, does kind kind of offer that. But yeah, look, I'd go through the Rangers team, but let's be honest, a lot of people who are watching this right now, you don't watch Rangers week in, week out. You probably know a
Yeah,
couple of the players. There's some names in there. Jack Butland, who we had on loan as well. I don't know if he played a game for us, but he was at the club. I don't know if he was on loan, actually. He might have been at the club in general, but he does start in net for them. I know Rangers have a couple of injuries as well. Quite a few. It's funny, I was speaking to my boss actually before, and he's at the game tonight. He's a Rangers fan. He's from Scotland, so he's going there to watch the game. And I was asking him about it to see how he feels, and he was like, I don't know. I don't know what to expect. And I don't think anyone does, do they? Like, this could be a 0-0. This could be a comfortable 2-0 United win. Or it could be really scrappy, a couple of red cards, VAR. Like, it quite literally is up in the air, isn't it, Dan? The game itself.
Yeah, but I am more lean towards, more scared than being confident because of that midfield lineup we have chosen.
Yeah.
And especially you see with Rangers, they play like a more of a 3-5-1-1 formation. They just put kind of a lot of bodies in the midfield. And today, I think that in itself is a scary thing to see. But yeah, with the players, the Rangers are not kind of a team who depends on a couple of players, but they're most of all the players contributes in the goal and assist. So if you see the stats there, you will see all the player names there, and especially the strikers, even their backup striker is also scoring kind of a same number of goals. So that in itself is a scary thing that I would like to see personally on with United, with Højlund and Xerxes. But coming back to Rangers, I think they have been like a team who all the players who contribute, especially in the midfield. I think the player name called Cerny. I'm not sure whether I'm pronouncing it right, but I've heard about his name here and there. In maybe some other leagues or some other, cup games or the national games or not. But I've seen that name coming around up, and he's kind of a star player in his national teams. If I'm not wrong, that player is the correct one, which I'm mentioning about. But that player is kind of, you see the Rangers, he has been kind of involved in almost all the goal assist stats. He's already there. So the stats looks really dangerous, and in all the games, I think I just saw the score lines of previous games, and it all looks like minimum 3 goals, like average 2 or 3 goals are there. So in this game also, I think the goals are definitely going to come in. But to be honest, I'm a bit on the scary side. The concerned side than being confident. And with the form we are in, with the midfield we have chosen, I think there are a lot of goals we are going to concede today.
You're not the only one. I think there'll be a lot of United fans, to be fair, who are slightly antsy about this game and worried. But that's just been our whole season. We could well and truly lose tonight, and a lot of United fans would not be surprised whatsoever. James McGregor saying, I know swap deals are hard graft to get done, but what are your thoughts, Nick and Dan, on a swap deal for Osimhen? I like the idea of it. I like the concept, but I don't want to be that Debbie Downer. But swap deals are they just do not happen for a lot of reasons. Agents that are involved, people trying to penny pinch, all that kind of stuff. They just will not happen for me personally. But yeah, Osimhen is someone, obviously if you can get him just in general, Dan, I think United do need a striker like that.
Yeah, definitely. I think we were kind of craving a striker like Osimhen. I think we were kind of, not maybe permanent, the solid rumors about him, but we have been here and there. The names have been around Manchester United for a long time, and we need a striker of that profile as well. So we have been craving for that. When we were looking for Harry Kane, we were also Osimhen was also there in the option. So I think if we get him, but definitely we need to get these players on the earlier phase of their career than just whenever they have been they are just dipping down their prime years. We should not go for those kind of a place. But I'm not sure, I've not followed him for a lot time, but a couple of years back he has been at his top level, scoring goals, lot of goals, and kind of a star player of his club. So if we get him now also, I think he can be a good player for us. But then you will see whether you're going for a loan move or a swap deal kind of a thing. I'm not sure, because already you have Xerxes and Højlund, and then if you bring another striker in, then you have to look out for a player to sell in the coming summer. So it's going to be a tough situation for us to get. Practically, I don't see a striker coming in this window.
Oh, yeah. No.
Especially so, but yeah, to have a player kind of with a profile of a Osimhen, it definitely will help us. That it's kind of he's a ready-made striker, so we need that kind of a players. Now we are in a situation where we are building players like Hoyland, Garnacho has been already there in the top level, and with players like Ahmad and Mino. So we are developing players, but we need, especially for a striker role, we need a proper
Yeah.
already built striker. So so that's where I keep Oshiman. If he comes in, I think definitely we'll get a good. I mean, that definitely the dynamics will change for the club. We need goals. We have been craving for a player who is a good finisher, and we are lacking that attribute in the team, and we are creating chances, but then we are lacking the finisher. So I think Oshiman definitely can be a good fit for that role.
Well, no Victor Osimhen tonight, so will we be using the Ahmad get out of jail card again? Most likely, if we do need a goal or an assist from somewhere. Let's finish the pre-match build-up off, Dan, with the betting slips. What are you going with today?
I think in combined 4+ goals, and
a lot of goals.
I think Cerny involved in goal or assist.
Who's
And
that?
from our
Serzi, you say?
Cerny, I'm not sure whether I'm pronouncing it right.
I'm probably not pronouncing it right, mate, to be honest with you.
Cerny. I'm not sure how they pronounce him.
Yeah.
Cerny or Cerny. So I mean, he's involved. He might be involved in assist or goal. And one Bruno Fernandes, you will always see him getting yellow card. And I think one goal from outside of the box.
Oh, okay. I mean, the odds on that. What do you say? So, Cerny to score or assist, Bruno yellow card. Did you say?
Yeah.
More than
and combined 4+ goals.
Yeah. Okay.
And the last one, a goal from outside of the box.
A goal from outside of the box. That is, the odds on that would be astronomical. So who knows? Could come in. I don't know what to expect with this game. I like knowing the other team. So if United are playing Brighton, for example, I watch that game and I probably could predict what's going to happen.
Yeah,
but a lot of us could. With Rangers, it's a bit of an unknown kind of thing. I haven't watched loads of him, so I'll just do it based on what I've seen from Manchester United. I would probably say I'll go for a wild Ericsson yellow card, and that's because I think because he is so leggy, he'll end up pulling someone's shirt or he'll doing something like that. I say he'll get a silly yellow card. I think Xerxes with an assist or a goal today, I will say. I think both teams score, and I think it ends up as a draw. That's what I'll go with. Because I think they're just behind us in the Europa League. We're 7th and they're 8th. And the top 8 in the Europa League go straight through. So there's no qualifiers or anything like that. So Amarin and United and the players will be looking at this and be like, we can't lose this game. So if it's dead tight, I don't know if they should be going for it, especially at Old Trafford, especially against a Rangers team who do have some injuries. But I think Rangers will fancy themselves tonight against this United team because it's not we've been shit this season. So why not have a goal? So you might be right, Dan. Your prediction might come to fruition where there is a lot of goals and it is carnage. But hopefully at least it's a good game. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Let's see. You muted, Dan. People lip syncing, trying to read your lips. They're like, oh, what's he saying? Can't understand. I think his mic might have gone. Well, what we could do, Dan, don't worry about it, because we're going to head off anyway. Just with your hands, if you can hear me, what scoreline do you think it's going to be? I actually think I prefer it like this. 3-2 to United. Okay. Not to Rangers, just to double check. To United. Okay. I'll go with you. Fuck it. Let's do that. Okay. Yeah. Right. Oh, we're back. Any final words, Dan, before we head off?
Yeah, just I think if you are seeing like this game is going very bad, then just bring in the players who can really change this game out, because this is kind of a do or die situation for us. It's like if you lose Europa League. So I think it's the game to go out all out for. And you know that in the league you're struggling, so you have these Europa League and the FA Cup to just at least build up something for the next season. So I think you need to go far in this league to prepare something. If this could be possible, like Europa League win can bring you to the next season. I mean, in a better position. So yeah, definitely. At least one cup from both of it. I mean, at least one Europa League and FA Cup. So that's where it will build your season, at least safe to some extent from the humiliation.
Yeah, this is the one thing United fans have got. If you ruin this, then you really are done for the season. James saying, I'm really sorry, Nick, bro, but you made me laugh with Lease instead of Liche. I know. Listen, anyone who knows me, the pronunciations and spelling is just not my thing. It's really not. And I will own that, and I will... Yeah, I'll own up to that. Punch Paint saying 2-0 United, Bayern Day masterclass. And James saying a good shout as well. Yeah, let's see if any of our predictions come to fruition. Enjoy the game, everyone, anyone who's tuned in. If you want regular updates on the transfer situation, everything that's ongoing, Sam does a fantastic job over on Instagram and on Twitter as well. We have constant updates by the minute. So check us out. All the socials are in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, Twitter, TikTok, and Insta. Enjoy the game, lads. Me, Adam, Chivy, and Sam. There'll be a full panel on after the game for the post-match analysis, so could be an interesting one with a few whiskies. Appreciate your time, Dan. Appreciate everyone else's time, and we'll see you guys in the next one, yeah? In a few hours.